Hello, good morning, everybody. Thank you for joining our webinar, Success in the Food Industry from Certus Food ERP. And let's jump right to it with today's agenda. So we'll do some quick introductions of myself and my colleague Tim, who will be doing the bulk of the presentation, followed by a 1-minute overview of our company. Then I'll do about 5 minutes overview of Microsoft Dynamics, the platform that we built the whole solution on. And then Tim will jump into the full solution presentation. He's basically going to show you how a company that makes almond cookies receives an order and manufactures accordingly everything that has to happen based on the order in terms of the production. Keep in mind that everything he's going to show is being kicked off by receiving an order, but everything he showed us can be kicked off by sales forecast or a replenishment to stock, etc. And then we'll just have 20 minutes of Q&A after that. So yeah, my name is Rick Siddiqui. I'm CEO of Certus Food ERP. I've got 20 years experience in the food manufacturing ERP space, and then before that 10 years in the technology consulting space. My role is really customer service, project management, and marketing and sales. Tim is our senior management / ERP consultant. He's got 25 years experience in the manufacturing ERP. Before that, he was actually an accountant controller for a manufacturing company. And he does the implementation, manages the implementation team and the training. He's really just an advisor to many large companies in terms of their ERP systems. So yeah, our company, we're basically a team of multidisciplinary, agnostic business and software consultants. We have 150 people with a 24/7 service offering. We have accountants on the team, MBA, the HR specialists, technologists. Because the ERP touches so many parts of the organization, we have to have all those skill sets. And then everything's supported by business analysts and project managers. We are specialists in financial reporting systems, business intelligence, anything business software related to the food manufacturing and distribution sector. So looks like we jump forward a little bit. So yeah, Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central is the Microsoft product that we built this upon. And typically what happens is you may have, when companies look for these systems, they may have siloed systems, entering the same data in multiple places, manual processes, not insufficient supporting the management and owners, security issues. The more places the more software you have, the more points of entry you have for viruses and spamware and all of that type of stuff. So the system's built on 3 premises: connect your business, make smarter decisions, and start and grow easily. So connect your business. Just basically you want to have your accounting, your project management, R&D, your operations, manufacturing, reporting, your distribution, sales, service, all in one place, talking to each other all the time. So you have one solution, pulling data, talking to each other, giving you a great visibility into your business. And then you can connect to any third-party application like payroll, banking, whatever you may need. Now, regardless of whether you're on your desktop or your laptop or iPad, iPhone, Android phone, it all looks and acts the same. Now, the one great thing is because it's a Microsoft product, it connects right to your Outlook. So in Outlook, you can create quotes, process orders, even submit invoices. You can also be in Excel, working in Excel, it'll update your GL, etc. Again, Microsoft made it so it's just cohesive. You don't have to leave Word to when you're making a quote. It will make you more efficient. And then all through the system, whether you're in the accounting module, the production module, distribution module, there are workflows that can be created. So if somebody has to authorize something, it'll just send a workflow automate note, and then they'll just approve it via email or whichever way they receive it. So the audit trails everywhere through the system. So make smarter decisions. You want to get it because you're getting data from finance, sales, service, everywhere all in one place. You get a full view, and then when you make a good decision, you're confident with that decision. You move on to the next task. You don't have to think about, oh, did I, second guess what you're doing. Good peace of mind. And then all through the system there, the system provides you the dashboards, KPIs of all the information you need. So you know what's happening, where it's happening, and you get that information right to you. And then it had AI and business intelligence built in, so it'll do auto reorder if a certain ingredient is out of stock or a certain end product is out of stock. It'll do the auto reordering of the ingredients, whatever it may be. If you're not paying an invoice on time and missing the early payment discount, it'll tell you. That's the AI sort of business intelligence side of it. And then basically, once you're all set up, you can rearrange fields, rename groups, set up any way you're like without having to always call a consulting firm like ours because it's easy to use. Now, one cool thing they have, which is what I enjoy, is like on your iPhone, you can go to the App Store, right? And download apps that you need. Here, if let's say your business starts to do something new or some new requirement pops up, you go to App Source, where Microsoft has all these modules built, and then you just download the one you need and it attaches to the system and you get going. And if that still doesn't solve what you need, then our team we're a certified Microsoft partner, and we have access to the code and a development team. So we'll just quickly code it or customize it and create it for you. So basically, it's easy to set up and you get started quickly, and just not a huge undertaking like it used to be in the old days with an SAP ERP system or big Oracle system. This is pre-cut already in the cloud ready. 80% of it's already pre-cut. The other 20%, we understand your business and configure it accordingly. So this is just a snapshot of all the modules that you get. This is your accounting module, your sales and service, your project management, your manufacturing is in under here, your operations, everything all in one system. This is the base system from Microsoft. Then we added the all graphical scheduler to it. We added some shipping integrations with your shipping companies. We added catch weight, quality assurance, bunch of things to make it more food centric that we've added on. It comes with your system also. So basically, you've got one system doing everything, one solution, everything talking to each other. No more data entry in two places or mistakes in terms of I entered this, somebody else entered that. You see everything all in one place. So with that, I'll hand it over to Tim to get into the live system and do the demo. All right, Tim, it's all yours.
I'm just setting up to share my screen here.
Sure.
Okay. Can you see the Business Central screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Rick. So when you open up the system, this is the screen you will see, or something similar to this. It's different. It can vary a little bit based on the user role. So there are several different roles that are set up in the system, and then they can also be customized from there. But the manufacturing manager would see something a little bit different than the accounting manager and so on. So, but basically on this role center, the concept of this role center page that opens in the beginning is that the user should be able to see all of the information, all of the key information that they want to see about the business on the main screen, or they can get to it with one or two clicks, and they can also do all of the tasks that they need to do very quickly, launching from this home page here. So On this main page, you see at the top there are a lot of different menus where you can launch a lot of different areas of the system. Also, you can create new documents here in this action section. You can just click on one of these and create a new sales order or quote, for example. It also shows you an overview of some information, some key information like sales, and you can click on the see more and it'll drill down and you can see the details that make up that number. Also, there are these tiles or these cues that show you how many of these various documents you have in the system, and you can click on any of those and drill down and see the individual transactions that make up that number. So in this case, there's 20 sales orders, and you can see a list of those 20 sales orders. So you can see there are many queues here for this particular role, and there are a lot of different areas of the system that you can drill down on depending on what you're using. Now there's also an area here for charts, a lot of different business charts you can look at. You can select charts, different charts here, or scroll through them, and you can also set the different periods that you want to see. So you can see a quick overview, for example, of your revenue and your income and expenses. You can also set up here some accounts, some important accounts that you want to see, to have more visibility on, so you can add them here to this page. In this case, we can see the cash and checking account balances. There's also a mini trial balance here where you can see some trial balance details. And there's a Power BI report section here. I'm going to expand this one so we can see it a little better. So in this Power BI, and these are configured based on what your company wants. So you can build these, or we can build them, and you can see then some key information related to sales or purchasing or production. And you can see charts, also some numbers here, and you can set filters over here where you can see different information based on what you select. I select all items, or I can select an individual item, and the charts and the numbers here dynamically change. Okay, and again, there's also a purchase tab on this one. You can see purchase related information and also production related information. So these are some examples of some of the different charts that can be built on the Power BI and then published to the Business Central homepage. Okay, so I'm going to touch on a little bit on the finance area. So in finance, there's a chart of accounts that has the balances. I just wanted to show you some of this because there's an overview here of the accounts, and then you can also drill down on these accounts to see the detailed transactions behind it, and then you can set filters on these transactions. You can also reverse transactions from here, and you can do searches to find the entries related to or the sources of these GL entries in the subledgers. You can also set filters here. So you can, for example, filter these totals by these different characteristics like business units, or you can do it by dimensions like departments and customer groups, or whatever you set up to track as dimensions. Or you can do it by date. So you can set up a date range, and then you can hit enter, and then it'll apply that filter here to your chart of accounts that you view. And so now all of these numbers are based on just the month of October. Okay, going back to the main page. So just to take a look at some of the financial reports. So there are some built-in financial reports that come with the system. And so you can also modify these. So these are very modifiable by the users. You can create new ones, or you can use these as a base and modify them. But these are reports that you can open up and look at the overview here. Okay, and you can also drill down on the numbers from here. So this shows us a budget to actual, and then plus a variance column and a utilization percent. So this can also be filtered by dimensions, whatever types of dimensions you set up, you can filter on this. And then you can also export this to Excel, or you can also just print it uh, as well. And I'll show you the printed version on the screen here. Okay, so of course, also there are many other areas of finance that are covered. You can do consolidations, you can do multi-currency. You have, of course, your deposits, your bank deposits and bank reconciliation, and looking here at cash management. So you have cash flow forecasts as well, cash receipt and payment journals to pay your vendors. There's also fixed assets. So it's pretty much everything is available in the system in the finance area. Now moving on to the processing part of the demo, where I'd like to take an opportunity, starting with an opportunity from a prospect or a contact that we have in the system, and taking it all the way through getting that opportunity, turning into a quote, to a sales order, and then making the product and shipping it. So I'd like to do all of those functions. So I'm going to go through this pretty quickly because there are a lot of pieces to it. So first off, I'm going to start out, as I said, with an opportunity. But first, I do want to show, though, before I get into that, I do want to show you the item that I'm going to be working with and the structure of it. So I'm going to go to, so if you don't see your menu selection that you want here, or you don't want to drill down and look for it, you can also just do this search here and just type in what you're looking for. And in this case, I'm just looking for items, the item list. And so this is the item we're going to be working with. Here's the almond cookies and also the ingredients that make up the almond cookies. Okay, so I'm going to select the almond cookies. And then I just wanted to show you here the breakdown of the almond cookies. So these are the ingredients. So this is the recipe with the ingredients here and the quantities needed to make 1 kilogram of almond cookies. And also we see here the work centers, the 3 steps that are required, which is just make the dough and then cut it into cookies and then bake it. So those are the 3 steps. Also, we can see here in this overview, we can see the cost, we can see the breakdown of the cost as well by each of these components, each of these ingredients, and the steps. So we can see the material, labor, and overhead cost broken down, and then also a total cost. Okay, so I'm going to start out now with the process of setting up an opportunity. So I'm going to create a new opportunity. And enter a description for it, and then select the contact. And I'll just enter myself as the salesperson and select the existing customer sales cycle. So these sales cycles can be defined by you. It's the stages of the opportunity as the salesperson works through the opportunity. So I'm going to go ahead and activate the opportunity. So the opportunity, by the way, is a part of the CRM system that's built in to the Business Central system. And it's just one component of it. There are also segments and there are also campaigns. So there are different pieces. There's also an Outlook integration. Those things I'm not going to get into today, just showing the opportunity piece. But if you want to see those other pieces, we can set up a separate demo for that. So on the sales cycle stages, so now we've initiated it, and it says we have a percentage completion and percent chance of success. Then we can update it to go to the, when we're ready to go to the next cycle stage. And we can put in an estimated value here. You can modify these fields with like the estimated closing date and so on. Okay, I'll click OK. So now we're in the second stage, and then now we're ready after the presentation. We're ready to do a proposal. So we're going to create a sales quote at this stage. Okay, and on the sales quote, this is where we're going to select what item is involved. And we're going to also select a location. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to the opportunity. So then I'm going to update the opportunity to move to the proposal stage now that we've submitted the quote. Okay, and at each stage of here, you can create interaction records, which are records that you can create of contacts that you've had with the customer, like emails or phone calls or whatever the case. You can document it, and it'll be attached to the opportunity. And you can later use that information too to create marketing campaigns, for example. In addition to that, you can also create tasks to do basically a to-do list, and also you can attach comments to the opportunity. Okay, so I'm going to update it again and go to the signing of the contract. Okay, and then so once we have the contract signed, then we're ready to close out the opportunity. And then at this stage, we can say whether opportunity is won or lost. So we're going to say we won this one. Okay, and just select a reason here. Click OK. Okay, so once the opportunity is closed, then we can go and process the sales quote. So I'm going to move over to the sales quote. I'm just going to change this. Okay, so then I'm going to go to process and make order and convert the quote to a sales order. And then I'm going to open up the sales order, take a look at it. Okay, so here's the sales order. It looks pretty much like the quote. I'm just going to go ahead and release it to say that, okay, it's ready to go. And then now that we have demand in the system from the sales order, and again, demand can come from different sources. It can also come from a forecast. It can also you can also create demand just based on inventory levels, just based on the item setup. But in our case, we're using the sales order to drive the demand. So now I'm going to go to the planning worksheet, and I'm going to calculate the planning worksheet. So this is what the planning worksheet does is it looks at all the demand in the system, and it looks at all of the supply that you have in the system, including inventory and open purchase orders, for example. And then it'll suggest what supply orders you need to create in order to satisfy the shortage of demand versus supply. Okay, so I'm going to run this calculation here. Okay, so I get a couple of suggestions. So it's suggesting that based on the demand that we have, we need to create a production order, a new production order for 100 kilograms of the almond cookies. And we also need to purchase the almonds. We need 10 kilograms of almonds. So the system has recognized that there are other ingredients that are needed to make the almond cookies, but those other ingredients are already in inventory, so we don't need to purchase more. And this, the calculation that I did here calculated those numbers for us. So now the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to say, yes, I want to go ahead and accept the suggestion. Okay, and then I'm going to carry out the action messages. And then I'm just going to go ahead and create the production orders and the purchase orders from here. Okay, and then they disappear from here because now we have those supply orders in the system to meet the demand. So now we have a purchase order and we have a production order. But I'm going to go and open up the purchase order first because we need to receive those items in that we're purchasing. Okay, so from the purchase order, I'm going to take a look at it. So it says here, we're going to purchase 10 almonds. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to go ahead and release this. Click release. So at this point, so there are a couple different ways we can receive this in. We might receive it in using a handheld mobile device with the application on it, with the WMS Express application that's linked with the Business Central system. Or we could also enter it on the application directly here on this window, but I'm going to show you both ways. So first I'll show you what it looks like on the mobile device. So this is a duplication of the mobile device screen here. So you can see that we have, and this could be on a device, a mobile device that looks like this, or even on a phone. And you can do different functions. As you can see here, there's inventory count, there's receiving, and there's shipping. And you could have more options here like picks, putaways, bin movements. In this case, we just have receiving and shipping turned on this screen. Okay, and then if you select receiving, then it shows a list of the POs that are open and need to be released, ready to be received. So you select a PO, and then it shows you the items that are on the PO to be received. Now this sample here that we're looking at is from a different database, so these are different items than what we're looking at in our application, but I'm going to show it to you in the application in just a moment. So then you select the item. Now at this point you can scan the item, you can scan the barcode that came from the vendor on the box, and it can convert the vendor's number into your number if you have through the cross references that are set up in the system. Or you can also print your own labels from the system and then attach those to the boxes that you received and scan those. And I will show you how to print your own barcodes in just a moment. Okay, so then once you scan the item that you're receiving, then it will actually display a picture of it quickly to confirm that, okay, yeah, that's the right item that we're receiving. And then it'll allow you to enter the quantity, and then you type in the quantity, click OK, and then you can post it to post the receipt and put the items into inventory. Okay, I'm going to go back to the application now. And so I mentioned I was going to show you the barcoding, so I'll show you that. Just enter a lot number in here, just to show you an example of what this looks like. Okay, so we have a barcode here for the item, barcode for the lot number. Also gives you the expiration date. Okay, so you can print those up and you can attach them to the items of the boxes, and then you can scan those. Okay, so the other way of receiving that I wanted to show you, so you can receive directly here from the application. So I'll go to the warehouse receipts and I'll create a new one. Okay, so I select the location, then I'll get the source documents. Oh, sorry, I got the wrong location. I'm working with, there we go. Okay, so that's the PO that we're receiving. And I pull that in here, and then I can see the quantity, and I enter the quantity to receive, and then we can post the receipt. Oops, no, we can't. We forgot to assign the lot number. So normally, again, if you're using the scanner, this is where you would scan the lot number. But in my case, I'm just going to assign a new one, because we don't have the label here to scan. So then I'll close this out, and then we'll post this. Sorry, the expiration date. You can set these expiration dates to automatically calculate. So let me post it again. Okay. So now that we've received it, you can set up the items to be QC tested, so QC inspected. So you can have a QC inspection process for these. I'm going to go ahead and process a QC test for that item. Okay, so we can see that the item is blocked currently. So we need to, because it requires a QC test that is passed in order to unblock it. So it's blocked, so it can't be used until QC okays it. Just type in any type of comment there. So you can see there's different ways that you can enter the values in. There are number ranges that you can set up, or there are values. So this is completely configurable by you. So you set the things that you want to test. We just set up a simple example here with a few different ways of how you can enter the QC results. Okay, and then you just say it's accepted or rejected. So I'm going to accept it so that we can use it. and then I'm going to post that. Okay, and now we can see that the status here, it shows it's okay, and then also unblocked it so that we can use it. Okay, so now the next step then, we're going to, so we've processed our purchase order, we received it, we QC inspected it, so we have the inventory, we have all the inventory we need in order to make the production order. So now we can go and process the production order. So now I'm going to go ahead and do that step. Okay, so on the production order, so once we've issued it to the floor, so we can print out some documents for the production, and then they report what they made, and then they can enter the data for what they made into the system. So that's what we're going to do now. So we're going to report the items that we produced and also the components. Now on the production orders, it has these components or these ingredients attached here. And I've set them to backward flush, which means that it's going to automatically be relieved from inventory when we produce the output or the end result, the cookies. But you can also set this to manual, and then you can manually enter each of these ingredients. I just set it to backward to speed up this demo process. And then on the production order routing steps, we see here we have the 3 steps that we saw earlier, along with the run times and costs associated with those. Okay, so then we're going to then go to the production journal to report what was actually done. So we can go in here and we can enter the actual run times for these. And then we can enter also the output quantity. I'll just leave that. I'll say we output the result, the exact expected quantity in this case. And then on this last line here, we need to enter, because this last output line, when we've finished baking, at that point, it's going to put the items into inventory. So this 100 here on this last step is going to put the item into inventory. And so we have to assign a lot number. Okay, so it's just assigning a next number in a series that we have set up. And you can set up these number series to be whatever format you want. Okay, so we set up, or we added the lot number. Hang on a second, I forgot this expiration date. Let me get that in. Okay, and then we can post this. Okay, so it says it's successfully posted. So what it did then, it posted both the output and consumption. In other words, it posted the each of those operation steps as completed, and it also relieved the ingredients from inventory all at the same time. Okay, and then you can look at your order statistics where you can see some of the costing details. So you can see your expected cost versus actual cost here for each of your categories of material and capacity or labor and overhead. And you can see here that you can see your yield here because we see that we had 100 that was expected, and we also finished 100. Okay. There's also a graphical production scheduler that I wanted to show you. Okay, so this product graphical scheduler here, so we see we have different production orders here in these blue boxes with the white font. And if you click on it, or if you just hover over it, you can see the details pop up in the box there. So it gives you some information on the starting and ending date and the operation. So we can see here our three operations going from bottom to top. We have the dough making, and then cookie cutting, and then the baking. And you can see if you click on one, it shows you the connection between them. So what you can do here in the graphical scheduler is you can move these around, okay, like this. So I can move this one here, and it will update the production orders, and it moves the other two operations along with it. So these stay in alignment here, where you have this one, and then that starts, and then that one starts. So you can also, in addition to, so what that did was it just changed the date, right, within the same work center. But you can also move these to a different work center, like this one. I can move up here, for example. Okay, so I moved it, okay, from the cookie cutting 2 to cookie cutting 1, and once again, it moved those other operations that are before and after it to stay in alignment with each other. Okay, so this graphical scheduler allows you to look at your complete production scheduler and do the drop and drag functionality to move and reschedule your production orders. Okay, so we produced the production order. So now we have some inventory available that we can ship. So we're going to go ahead and do the last step, which is to ship out the items. So now I'm going to go to the warehouse shipment. I'm going to create a new one. I'm going to enter a production, or excuse me, a location code. And then I'm going to do the process of get source documents. And once again, we saw how you can, on the mobile handheld device, you can do the receiving process. We can also do the shipping process from that device. But in this case, I'm just going to do it from the application. Okay, so I have a quantity to ship there. This can be changed if necessary. I'm just going to post the whole quantity. Well, after I assign the lot number, I have to tell the system which lot we're shipping. So again, this is something that you might be scanning if you're labeling your product out of production or in shipping when you're preparing it. You can create the labels, put them on the boxes, and then you can scan them here when you're actually shipping. Okay, so then I'm going to post the shipment. And you can just ship, or you can ship an invoice at the same time. I'll just go ahead and ship an invoice at the same time for this example. Okay, and it says that number of documents posted. It tells you that it's been posted, ship lines have been posted. And so now it's gone, it's removed from inventory, and we sent an invoice to the customer. Okay, so the last thing I want to show you is the item tracing. So this is how you can do traceability. Okay, after you're done. So after you're done with, or after you've shipped something, and then later on there's a problem, you need to look up the lot and see what went into that lot and the whole chain of events involving that lot. So I'm going to look up the lot number. I think it was 55, 155, and trace. Okay. So this shows the shipment, which was the last thing that happened. And then underneath that, it drills down into what happened before that. So we see that there was an output on this production order, and then also all of these lots for these other items went into that finished item. Okay, and it also shows it goes all the way down to, the receipt of the purchased item, the receipt of the almonds that we did. And you can see the lot number on the receipt of the almonds. And then you can also see who it was purchased from here. And you can see who it was sold to. You can also go in the other direction. So we're looking from usage, in other words, from the shipment back to the origin, which is the receipt. You can also flip it in the other direction. You can go from origin to usage. I can do that here. I can just type the lot up here and do it, but I can also trace opposite from line. So that purchase receipt line that I'm looking at. So now I flipped it from origin to usage. So now I'm looking at, okay, for this lot of almonds, where was that used at? And it shows, well, it was used in this production order here, and then it was shipped to this customer, and it was used in this other production order and shipped to that same customer again, and so on. So it shows you everywhere that that lot was used and who it was sent to. Okay, that's the end of the demo. So Rick, I'll hand it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Tim. Yeah, you can stop sharing your screen, Tim. And thank you very much. So hopefully that covered sort of a high level view of the system end to end. The system really does come with a lot more functionality than we just showed here. It really is your complete business management system. So once we do a discovery with the client, talk about their exact needs and have a talk and understand what they need, then we can show all the other things in a more a detailed one-to-one demo. So what I'm going to do is quickly just share my contact information again here. 1 second. And if you need a one-to-one demo, have some questions, then you can reach me that way. I'm just going to share my screen now.